Hi everybody. Haven't done a normal non-live stream video. Maggie wants attention too. I don't know if you can hear her through the mic, but she's like, "Hey, I'm right here. Why aren't you giving me pets?" Right, Maggie? But since I'm gonna have more free time on my hands until I figure out what the next moves are gonna be. I had a really good workout today. I did my 7x7s, full completion, and just I figured, you know what? If the Lord wants me to wait, then I will wait. I will be obedient to His calling. I don't want to overstep my bounds. I wasn't. I mean, I was kind of expecting this to happen with this DMV situation kind of flaring up with Lyft. Like I thought it was kind of like too good to be true. But I enjoyed it while I could drive Lyft. It was a great pleasure. It was a great blessing. It was a great reminder, validation, I guess. Not that I need validation. Come on. Um, but um, but yeah, it was a good eye opener to see how my energy is interacting with strangers who I will never see again. Or some of them were regulars, and then when I saw them again, they were just like, "Oh my God, it's you again! I'm so happy." So it's like it was this past 2 weeks or so. It was fun. Um, Hopefully, by the grace of God, the Phoenix Center, the ad set program can just freaking get cleared up, and I can either get back in touch with my current lawyer team or just look for a new Greenville legal team that can just basically be like, look, we're gonna get your driving records squared away. We're gonna clear it up. Just give us your ADCEPS certification, letter, and we will go to the courts and get all this crap off your record. That's what I'm fingers crossed. Like I haven't activated my Uber account. It's kind of like on um, I don't know, limbo status. So it's still in good standing. So I just don't want to turn it on and start driving for them, making like it's not worth making $100, $200 for them to just be like, oh, let's just look into his driving record, see what we find, and then terminate me. Since that's like that's the main cash cow, and Lyft was gonna be the backup source, but I don't know what's gonna happen. They kind of gave me like a notice, like, hey, we saw some things that we didn't want to see or that we don't like, and we're gonna get back to you within 5 business days. So whatever happens, happens. If they fire me, if they suspend me, if they terminate my account, if they do whatever they're gonna do, that's on them. I have no control over these outcomes. What I do have control over is how can I use my time wisely? What can I do with my time to serve God while I'm, back in the urban cave, if you want to call it that. But it's not a bad place. I've got Maggie, I've got fridge full of food. I'm financially blessed, so I just can't go out and spend like a crazy person. But as long as I just live responsibly, then I can just, I don't know how long this is going to be, but there are multiple job offers that I can apply for that I would find interesting. I swear I just saw a jump. Um, but I want to wait till I get this legal situation, this legal driving situation cleared up. So in the meantime, I just plan on just kind of just keeping my head low, keeping my presence, a low profile, but I want to put health and fitness. I mean, not first, obviously faith first, and personal joy, personal happiness second. But also, pretty much just kind of like go back to the chalkboard essentially, and just reevaluate how can I be most effective with my time, both spiritually, self-care wise. I can drive now, obviously, so if I need to go somewhere, I don't need to be like wasting money on Uber. I've pretty much already shopped myself out of Amazon Prime, so I just have to just nip that little shopping addiction in the bud, and just just only buy what's needed. And I've got a whole pantry full of like lentils, couscous, quinoa, rice, so I don't need to keep buying more grains. I just need to start eating more and mixing it up. I might go a little bit more plant-based just to save money on the protein side because I don't want to I don't want to eat cheap processed like just hot dog meat. So like if I am going to eat protein, it's going to be like probably ground turkey. But for the meantime, I might just like cut back on it. I'll see how my body reacts to the 7x7 workouts. If I need to put more protein in, I'll make adjustments. But the goal is going to be pretty much just to be stay positive, have fun. It's like I got to make the best out of a situation that I'm in. I can't be moping around like, oh my God, woe is me. Like that whole entitlement mentality. That's low vibrational thinking. Um, and we don't operate that way in this channel. We, as in all of us. Let's weed those ones out. So yeah, let's just stay positive, guys and gals, of course. I know there's like a few gals who have. It's always the women who just, they always show out harder, like even in the Bible. So glory to you, ladies. You guys make us boys look like children. So take pride, women, on you, spiritual women of God, who carry God's grace and God's light. I mean, you guys make us boys look like children. When you guys put your faith first, y'all can do so much work, and you don't even realize how much impact you guys have on everyone around you. Just that grace that you guys can just like innately carry and just like express it outwards and inwards. It does so much healing, ladies. Like you have no idea. And to the men who are honest, they're gonna they'll tell you straight up, like women of God who truly just have that spiritual presence with the Holy Spirit. Y'all can just heal wounds just by your mere presence. And I pray that I can have that kind of gift, to be able to just to be a kind spirit and just kind of radiate it outwards. But I know that ladies can carry it far easier, just with your maternal instincts. So glory to all the women of God out there. You all have helped me out so much, so much. Um, and glory to all the old saints who passed. Saint Mary Magdalene being my matron saint, um, personally. So thank you to you, Miss Mary Magdalene, Saint Mary Magdalene. You've touched my heart, and I pray that I can make it to heaven and meet these amazing saints who've carried the torch for God. And on that same note, there are things that I'm doing, behind the scenes that probably aren't as um, godly appropriate, but it's private. I keep it private, but I'm gonna continue working on those things myself and keep it between God and I. We all have our own private business that that we deal with, between us and God, or between us and our spouse or spouses if you have spouses, or children. Probably not children. That's kind of weird. But I think you guys know what I'm saying. This channel is for adults. This is not a kid-friendly channel. I don't make content for children. This is for adults who've struggled with a wide array of insecurities, sexual sin, sexual purity issues, alcohol, chemical dependency issues, just A to Z on the Celebrate Recovery spectrum. I've probably had to, whatever, I've had to heal from a lot of different letters in that spectrum. So hope this video is informative, and yeah, I want to give more to you guys, is what I'm saying. I had more time on my hands, so I want to just continue to self-improve, grow with God, and you know, there's been several times in the past few months where I thought like, all right, God was giving me like the okay, like, all right, I think you're ready to get back into the world and do my work. And I thought this might have been that time, but he just kind of yanked that collar a little bit and was like, all right, look, I need you to work on some more things. I don't know what those things are specifically, but I prayed I prayed at the gym earlier today, and I'm just like, Lord, I trust you. I trust your guidance. Whatever direction you want me to go, I trust you. And in my spirit, I know it's kind of like God's like, look, I need you to wait. And that's what I'm feeling in my spirit right now. Is just like, look, Daniel, however I call myself. I'm wacky as it is. But he's just kind of like saying, again, this is my own interpretation, so I don't, when people say God speaks to them, it's rarely, if ever, in a straight audible, this is what I want you to do, take out a pen and start writing down notes. Like, if that was the case, that's probably a demonic spirit. But it's just like, for me, it's like how I would describe it is it's like, I thought about this yesterday too. Cause like for me as a kid, I liked playing with Legos. I liked building little things with like whether it was the Lego set or I had spare Legos, of course. Um, I would make I'd make little fortresses and bunkers and fighting positions, and then I would have my little like green and tan army soldiers, and I would just kind of make little battles between the green and versus tan. Have a general over here, have a general over there, and then whatever, it's how little children play. Um, but what I'm trying to say is that it's like when the Holy Spirit is kind of and I love that about the Holy Spirit is that like he knows that I like to solve puzzles and solve kind of like riddles in that sense and like using building blocks. So he'll kind of like give me different just like an array of images, thoughts, ideas, emotions, and kind of just lay them out there on the spiritual table, the carpet, whatever, playroom, however you want to call it. And I kind of just have to like just kind of look at each of them, each image. It's all spiritual. This is all fourth, fifth dimensional, awareness. So if you're not at that level, guys, this is gonna go way over your head. But if you are, then you'll understand a little bit what I'm saying. And it's like you just kind of have to like it's like putting a puzzle together. You got to see which ones, some of them might look like they're going to interlock, but you got to just figure out how each so say he gives me five different topics, ideas. I got to piece them together until they create that finished image. And that's what the Holy Spirit is trying to tell me. So it's kind of like for me it's fun. You can say I'm a schizo and I don't really care, man. Like you know, how I describe it now is that um, I call it like multi-dimensional thinking. Um, and some people, I guess, have more access to that kind of awareness, if you will. Um, it's extremely intimidating when you first start to realize like that you're capable of having this multi-dimensional way of thinking. Um, and I'm always nervous about talking about this kind of stuff because I don't want it to go in. I don't want it to fall into the wrong hands and be used for the wrong reasons. So it's like I got Maggie's hair everywhere. So yeah, it's like it's something I try to be very transparent with you guys. But I am guarded when it comes to very powerful like esoteric, knowledge and wisdom and techniques. Because some people will either probably call me a Gnostic, some people will call me a spiritual deceiver. This I'm gonna catch hate regardless. Trying to like broach into this topic of like higher spiritual awareness and just how to apply it into your life. But what I will always say is put the Holy Spirit first. I know like again, I've dabbled and I've dabbled recently in just like different types of more spiritual reading type content, and I know there are specific church camps that are like, "Oh my God, that's all demon, 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 demon," and you know what? That's what it could be true, could not be true. I'm not here to judge that. Um, but you just have to be really careful. Like when you are going into these frames of mind and kind of meditations, if you will, you have to be really careful, and you have to really be before you even try to like dabble into the esoteric fields of higher consciousness, higher awareness, channeling these kinds of thoughts. If your faith isn't locked tight with God, the Holy Spirit, um, then you shouldn't be even attempting in any kind of like spiritual higher awareness because you're gonna get bamboozled. I've been bamboozled. I've been tricked. I've been like do I need to rehash my you know trips to the psych ward? So you have to be really careful with this stuff. That's why I don't like to even really talking too much about it. But since I felt it in my spirit to, I guess, make this video, just kind of giving you the tip of the iceberg, if you will. But yeah, guys, thank you. Thank you for watching. I hope this gives you some kind of clarity, if that helps. I just wanted to just basically share, just basically just checking in with you guys who are loyal to this channel. And we are starting to see like new growth taking place, which is cool. It's like it's hard to explain. Like you don't, I've had this channel for over a year now, over a year and a half now, and it was like growing at a snail's pace until just like recently. It's like as I'm coming out of my spiritual like cubbyhole or my cave and re-entering back into the world. It's like this channel is like gaining more momentum. So it's just alignment. I don't want to use all the spiritual new agey words since I don't want to make any stumbling blocks. That's that's my biggest thing is I don't want to ever create spiritual stumbling blocks for people that are either former new age, want to integrate their new age, concepts and beliefs into their faith. It's a very You have to be very careful in how you navigate these fields. These fields are out there, and I believe God orchestrates through them to us. So it's like the mesh between the divine and the physical realm is that spiritual um, fourth. I don't claim to know dimensional properties. Fourth dimensional properties are this. Fifth dimensional. I kind of just sense certain things when I'm in these different states, if you will, states of awareness. Like for me, for instance, to me, fourth dimensional is just like if you're not a believer in God and you're just doing spiritual stuff, then you're in that fourth dimensional. You don't make it to the fifth dimensional and above unless you have a relationship with God and with the Holy Spirit and with Jesus Christ. You know, you're just really like denied access. Yeah, you can try to like sneak your way in by using mind altering substances, marijuana, all the psychedelic mushrooms, ayahuasca, etc. But it says in the Bible, only through the narrow gates are you allowed to enter the divine, if you will, the kingdom of heaven. Yeah, yeah. It might have a 3 foot picket fence that you can easily jump over if you want to, but you're not entering it in with a sober state of mind and with a heart, a Holy Spirit heart centered, Christ focused awareness and faith. So that's why I say be very careful because people with malicious intent will be like, oh, I can break right in and grab the knowledge that I want and use it for my own malicious, desires, ego. If if you haven't if you haven't wrestled your ego and subdued it, then none of this stuff should be even be practiced at all in your consciousness because you're going to invoke um, wrath from God and His angels, and you're going to open up easily access points of legal contracts for the darkness to have free reign because you're breaking divine laws that even if you don't know what laws you're breaking, you're still breaking them, and you're gonna have to pay for them, and it won't be pretty. So, hope this is enough. I've already shared more than I usually would want to share in this topic. But guys, God bless. Um, I want to wrap it up. So take care. This was just like a spiritual check-in, just so you guys can kind of just see where I'm at. That everything's good. I'm not sad. I'm not mopey. I got a little punch in the I got a little gut punch yesterday, and just you have to just swallow it and just work through it. It's life. It's gonna happen until God calls you home or gives you your final judgment and tells you that you passed or you didn't pass. We're stuck here on planet Earth, and we gotta just do the Lord's will and have faith that we're gonna make it home to the kingdom of heaven and never have to worry about all of these gut punches day in, day out. So, guys, if you want to pray that I just stay on that straight and narrow path, that I wrestle through what I'm wrestling through right now, and stay strong, yeah, guys, God bless you. God bless. Bye bye. I'm done. I'm done talking.